consciousness and started understanding this Bhagavad Gita. And while he was doing job, his inner call was always giving him an indication that he should spend more time in creating an awareness about Bhagavad Gita, about this Krishna consciousness to people, and that's how he can best serve the society. And since then he has been uh, involved in activities, and Prabhuji is there since in ISKCON, connected to this movement organization since 32 years. So when I was reading, I was thinking, what is my age? I thought 30. Okay. So even I was not born that time, but Prabhuji is there from that time. So we can understand. Sometimes all of you may know, you come once, twice to these sessions, and you think that you have got so much knowledge. You start telling to your friends. So you can imagine the experience of 32 years. So since 32 years, Prabhuji is in ISKCON. Initially, he was a vice president at ISKCON Kolkata, and seeing his as a lead fundraiser, they were like, ISKCON was that time building big temples. They wanted so much funds. So then he was moved to Bangalore. He was also a fundraiser there. One of the devotee, Prabhuji's friend, they were telling that when that time we were getting some donation of 5,000, 10,000, Prabhuji was bringing 1 lakh, 2 lakh. So he was so much confident and convinced, and that conviction he was transferring to people, that you donate for this activity and this will surely help people. So later on, Prabhuji later on he became a temple president of ISKCON Shri Narsimha Giridhari temple in Bangalore. It is in HBR layout, a very beautiful temple. There is a Narsimha Dev and there is Radha Giridhari. There is a Goshala. So, and also 5 years back, he was also selected as a committee member at Hyderabad Temple Management, and he was selected as a convener here of 4 presidents board at ISKCON Hyderabad. Along with that, he also takes care of Raichur project. Raichur is a town which is a city which is some 5-6 hours from here on the Karnataka border. Apart from this, Prabhuji knows 5 languages. He can give classes in 5 languages: Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, English, Hindi. So any one of you feel I want to interact with any other language, you can always interact with Prabhuji. Prabhuji is famous for organizing festivals. He likes that big festivals should happen. More and more people should get connected. Last year, under his leadership, we started Gita course. We call it as Gita Sandesh course, which goes for 18 days. So we had organized this course around 4 times, and so many people got connected through that course to temple. And recently he was telling me that he has started a new thing in Bangalore. He's leading a project, a Shri Ram Ratha Yatra. Just like we have Jagannath Rath Yatra, so like that Shri Ram Rath, which will happen every Ramanavami, it will be there in Bangalore, and it is a very, Prabhuji himself alone is leading that, and he has so much enthusiasm to spread this Krishna consciousness to far and wide. So he always says, he does not talk about local area. It's like many devotees should be there in Hyderabad. He always says there should be so many devotees in Telangana, Andhra. Corners should be filled with devotees. So we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji's time. Tomorrow that Sri Ram Rath Yatra is there, and Prabhuji is here. Tomorrow morning he's flying to Bangalore. So schedule is very tight, but he has graciously given his time to give us a special reflection on Ramayana. And Prabhuji is a very well versed in Ramayana. He loves Ramayana, and he derives so many lessons from Ramayana. So we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji. We'd like to welcome him by loudly chanting 3 times, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय द्वैत चंद्र. Please repeat after me. Tomorrow is Ramanavami, so we will chant a small invocatory mantra glorifying Lord Rama. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitayai Pataye Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrupatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be with all of you. Saturday evening, tomorrow is Ramanavami. Among the 10-12 prominent incarnations of the Lord, the incarnation of Lord Rama is considered next in hierarchy after the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is known as the Sampurna Avatar, the complete incarnation. Lord Rama is just kind of almost there. So, Lord Krishna and Rama's incarnation are kind of detailed in the sense that Lord Rama is born, then he grows up, then he's a child, and then he becomes youth, and then he becomes adolescent, then youth, and then becomes a king, and then gets married and has children. Like that, it runs through the whole cycle. Same is the case with Lord Krishna. Even Krishna's incarnation runs through the whole cycle. But of course, there is a lot of difference. While both of them come apparently for the same purpose, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. There is absolutely no doubt that Lord Rama also came for the same purpose, but their methodologies are quite different. That of Krishna and that of Rama are very, very different. Their style, their methodology, the details of their leelas are very different. So, nevertheless, Srila Prabhupada said that when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Srila Prabhupada said that this name Rama actually refers to three personalities. He said you can take it that it refers to Balaram or to Lord Krishna himself or to Lord Ramachandra. It can refer to any of the three personalities. Rama literally means one who gives happiness, pleasure, Ramayanti. comes from the root Rama, Ramayanti or Rama or something. One who gives happiness to the devotees. One who pleases the devotees. Very interesting. So basically from the name itself you can find out that the Lord is very joyfully inclined towards his devotees. Very, well, I mean, in the sense that the Lord wants his devotees to be happy. That's how he gets the name Rama. So, in India, Lord Rama is also worshipped extensively. I guess more so in north than in the south. South, Bhadrachalam, there's a famous Rama temple. Not as many as Krishna Vishnu temples in the south. I guess in the north there are more Rama temples. But nevertheless, the fact is that everybody is aware that Lord Rama is one of the 10 prominent incarnations. And Ramayana is a popular book. There is no doubt about it that people like to read the Ramayana. Based on the Ramayana written by Valmiki, many other subsequent poets and scholars have written their own version of the Ramayana. They say that even Tulsidas Ramayana is kind of an adopted version of Valmiki Ramayana. Kamba Ramayana, Tulsidas Ramayana. And like that, there are many. I can't remember all the names, but there are many. But Srila Prabhupada says Ramayana means Valmiki Ramayana. That is the authentic, original, pure scripture. In fact, there are so many Puranas and so on. And there are two Itihasas. Itihasas means narration of history. Purana means also something like that. Purana means Puran. Puran means very old, very ancient history. Itihasas is more or less the same word, but it's used in a little different context. There are two Itihasas. One is Ramayana, the other is Mahabharata. So, in the Itihasa that was originally compiled by Valmiki, it had 100 crore shlokas. I don't know how Valmiki got around to writing 100 crore shlokas, but he did it. There were 100 crore shlokas. Actually, it means Lord Rama's Leela was much more detailed. But since the effect of time, some portions have been lost or something. So what is remaining today is 24,000 shlokas of the original version of the Ramayana, which is organized into 7 kandas. So there is the Bala Kanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, Yuddha Kanda and Uttara Kanda. So there are 7 kandas of the Ramayana. Put together 24,000 shlokas. The interesting thing is it is also mentioned that before Valmiki wrote, or shall we say compiled, the Ramayana, there was very little by way of poetry. So Valmiki's Ramayana can be considered as the first poetic way of rendering any literature, not just the Leela of the Lord. Before that, there was only prose. It was Valmiki who we could say, invented poems. He invented. Before that, there was no such thing as poem. It was only prose. And the way in which he invented poem also, it is a very, very historic way in which Valmiki came up with this. Accidentally, he found this. He had this ability to write poetry. Accidentally, the story goes that when he was with his disciples, he was in the noon time. He was walking down from his ashram to the nearby river to take a bath. He found a hunter, and this hunter turned out to be a very cruel hunter. So there were 2 birds who were, one male and female bird, who were sporting on the branch of a tree. And this hunter, I don't know, hunter is a hunter. So what he does is, he shoots one of the birds. The male bird, he shoots. So the male bird comes crashing down to the earth, pierced with an arrow, and it's writhing in pain. And imagine the fate of the female bird. She's watching her husband, a lover or something, fighting for life on the ground, and she's shedding tears of pain and agony and like that. So the story goes that Valmiki witnesses this incident, and Valmiki, in a sudden, unexpected burst of anger, curses the hunter. He curses the hunter. And when he curses the hunter, he utters the curse in a peculiar style, in a very unique style. He curses the hunter. And what does he say by way of a curse? Ma nishada pratishtam tvamagama shashwati sama yat krauncha mithunadekam avadim kama mohitam. This is the first poem that has been recorded in history, because it comes under, technically speaking, it has all the features and perfections that poetry should have. The way it is constructed, the number of syllables, number of words, this way, like that. It is said that Valmiki himself is surprised that he's uttered this, which is very unique in the sense that it is not like any prose, but it's a new style. And then, of course, Valmiki is also regretting that he had this sudden, unexpected, totally surprised by his burst of anger. But he's fascinated by what he uttered. In the at the time when he became angry, he uttered this curse and he becomes a little fascinated. And then he tells his disciples, actually it is a surprising thing, in the Valmiki Ramayana it's explained in the first few chapters, that all the disciples who are accompanying Valmiki are also surprised. That what is this? This is something which is very lyrical. Lyrical means sounds very melodious in the way it has been uttered. It's very unique. Our master, Valmiki, has never spoken in this style like that. So, but Valmiki is expressing regret for two things. One is the cruelty that was shown by the hunter. He's feeling very regretful. Second thing is also regretting that he happened to come under the control of anger for some moments. He becomes angry and curses the hunter, that he came under the control of anger. He regrets that also. So he's very deeply contemplating, and he comes back to his ashram. And when he comes back to his ashram much later in the day, same day, he understands that this incident also is kind of a divine, what can I say, divine arrangement. So Brahma comes later in the day and requests Valmiki, when you compile the Ramayana, please compile it in this style. We made you utter this. So don't please think that you were temporarily brought under the influence of anger and don't regret it. This is a predestined arrangement, that you would come under the influence of anger, you would utter this curse, and the curse would come out in a particular meter, in a particular style, and we want you to compose the entire Ramayana in this style. It is said that it is a very demanding style. That means it's not an easy thing. It's a very demanding, that means the number of alphabets, number of swaras used, the way it begins, the word with it ends, all that is very rigorously there. So Valmiki says, no, I just uttered it once, I don't know. Then the interesting thing is, Valmiki, when he prays like this, first Narada, then later Brahma, offer him a blessing, offer him a very special blessing. and says, no, you will be able to compose the entire Ramayana in this style. Don't worry, you have our blessings. You have our blessings. You have been chosen for this. Then Valmiki becomes very grateful, he says. So he was chosen for that. So again, we see that the Acharyas mentioned that this explains how, even though he was such a great poet and great whatever, ultimately for him to do something meaningful, it required the blessings of his guru. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ultimately, for him to do anything meaningful, required the mercy of his guru, blessing of his guru. And Valmiki acknowledges that. He says, I'm very grateful to Narada and Narada's guru Brahma for having shown this special affection to me, and for having chosen me, and for having blessed me. So Valmiki then he is engaged, or he's ordered to compile the Ramayana. So that's the historic beginning. And then, like I was mentioning earlier in the day, Valmiki has also received several blessings from his guru. Now, when and how does somebody get blessings of his guru? The answer is, this is something we have to reflect on, because it is said that one of the most important ingredient that contributes to the overall success of a disciple's life is the mercy of his guru, blessings of his guru. Because that is like a kavacha. The blessing of his guru is like a kavacha, means protects, offers all-round protection from karma, from whatever, from lust, greed, anger, jealousy, everything. Because when the guru blesses, nothing is impossible for the disciple. When the guru wholeheartedly blesses. So Valmiki is very grateful that he receives this blessing, and he knows that actually Brahma blesses because Lord Rama had just appeared. It is not that Lord Rama's pastimes were all over. And as soon as, more or less at the time when he appears and he's in his teens or something like that, Valmiki receives the order to compile Ramayana. The Leela is still unfolding. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. So in that sense, it's a very great, you can understand the potency of a blessing of a guru. The Leela is not over. It's happening. And Valmiki is given this blessing. The Brahma will bless him and say, your composition, Valmiki, your composition, Ramayana, will be blemishless. Blemishless means faultless. It will be perfect. Just go ahead and write. You will be given, I'll bless you with divine vision. You can even see things that have not yet happened. So this is the power of blessings of a guru. In fact, that is one of the main principles that is upheld in the Ramayana, the principle of bhakti or shraddha towards one's guru. So that is the origin of Ramayana. That is how Ramayana began. And then much later, towards the end of the entire Ramayana Leela, Hanuman makes, when Lord Rama, at the end of the war, is calling all the devotees and the Vanaras and the Balukas and everybody else who helped him in his expedition to rescue Sita and offering them blessings. It is the turn of Hanuman. Hanuman will come and say, what? Well, other than this wonderful opportunity to be serving you, to function as your dasa, Rama Banta, Rama Dasa, servant, your servant, I don't consider anything else of any value in this world. I don't want anything. I already got much more than what I deserve, much more than what I ever wanted, the opportunity to serve you. I'm very satisfied. I don't want any boon. Lord Rama says, no, nevertheless, I want to bless you. That again is another very interesting incident, because Lord Rama says that, I'm so pleased with you and I want to bless you. Hanuman, when he hears Lord Rama saying that I'm very pleased with you and I want to bless you, it is said that Hanuman becomes overwhelmed with gratitude and he has tears of joy, ecstasy in his eyes. He says that, I was just hoping and praying that whatever I have done will in some way please you. In some insignificant way, it will please you. For me to serve you and please you is the only purpose of staying alive. And the fact that now you're saying that whatever I have done, though it may be completely insignificant, has pleased you, is enough for me. That is the biggest blessing I can get from you. I will live with these words of yours in my heart, that I was able to somehow mystically serve the Lord. And mercifully, he uttered to me that he was pleased with my service. It's not that Hanuman becomes proud or arrogant, say, I achieved it, I pleased. No, he says, actually, you don't need anybody's help. Hanuman tells this to Lord Rama. You didn't need anybody's help. It's just out of your affection for us, you said, okay, come along. You can help me find Sita. You actually don't need anybody's help. You just lovingly gave us opportunity to serve you. And today, you gave us opportunity to serve you. You accommodated us. You tolerated us. You engaged us. And now on top of it, you're coming and telling me that you were pleased with me. How can I repay? And now if you give me any boon, then I won't know how to repay that more. Whatever, then Hanuman will become so pleased, and Lord Rama will ask him, and then Hanuman will say, see, everybody has different things. I would like to continue to stay in this world for the simple reason. Many people will choose to go back with Lord Rama to Ayodhya. Ayodhya means spiritual planet of Ayodhya. Lord Hanuman will say, no, I'd like to stay here for some more time. And the reason that Hanuman gives, he says that this very land is where you walked around, you performed these leelas. For me, this is not different from the spiritual world. You were here, and I got this opportunity in this body, very same body, to serve you, to be with you, to keep constantly looking at your lotus feet and be engaged in your service. To me, this is not different from the Vaikuntha planets. I would like to spend some more time here. And when I'm here, I keep remembering the different leelas that you performed and how I got chance to serve you. So I would like to continue to be here, but I will be here only as long as there is somewhere, some corner of the world, someone is chanting Lord Rama's leela. Lord Rama's leela. Somewhere, someplace. And the day Lord Rama's leela, discussion on Lord Rama's leela is closed or does not happen anymore, that means Kali Yuga really advances, and shall I say, degrades rather, not advances, degrades. Kali Yuga degrades. Then Hanuman says, the moment discussion on Ramayana stops, or chanting the name of Lord Rama stops, then I will return back. Till such time, I would like to be here. So Ramayana is not just a, okay, Rama went to, Kaikeyi asked for a boon and he went to the forest to fulfill the boon of Kaikeyi, and then Dasharatha died and this and that, and Sita was kidnapped, and Rama took the help of the Vanaras and rescued Sita, came back and became the king. No. Every single incident of Ramayana has something to teach us, has something amazing to teach us, something unbelievably amazing to teach us, and which is relevant in our life today, now, this moment. It is very relevant in our life. Lord Rama's tolerance, Lord Rama's affection, Lord Rama's patience, Lord Rama's loving nature of engaging everybody. Every incident of the Ramayana has something to teach us, has something amazing to teach us. Like for instance, when Lord Rama refused to take Lakshmana, Lakshmana will cry and break down and say, how can you not take me to the forest along with you? You're not just going for a day or two. You're going away for 14 years. And how can I live? How can you condemn me to live without you for 14 years? Lord Rama says, yes, that's precisely the reason why I don't want to take you. Because I'm going away for a very long time. If it was just for a day or two, I would have taken you and have come back. But I'm going away for 14 years. How can you give up your wife, your family, your kingdom, and come with me for 14 years? And you'll be condemned. You'll have to live like me in the forest, each day under a different tree or something. Why you should come? The curse is on me. Kaikeyi wanted me to go and not you. So why you should come? What's the logic here? Lakshmana will say, I don't know why you're asking. I don't know any logic. I don't know. From the time I was born, the only thing I know is to serve you. Be with you and serve you. Take care of you and take care of your needs. I don't know anything else. I've never done anything else. I've never done anything else in my life, Lakshmana is saying. And Lakshmana makes one very, very important statement. He says, I don't want to learn anything else in my life. Maybe he said, I'm too old now to learn new things. I don't know what he said. But nevertheless, he says, I don't want to learn anything else. This is all I want to. This is what I learned, this is what I know, and this is what I want to do. And it doesn't matter to me whether you're here in Ayodhya, you're there or in the forest. My job is to be with you and serve you. What about your wife and family? What about your wife and family? Then Lakshmana will say that, well, why didn't you go and check up? Why didn't you go and talk to my mother? What she thinks about what I want to do? That I want to come with you and spend 14 years in the forest. Then Lord Rama will go and meet Lakshmana's mother. This is one of the most heart-touching incidents of Ramayana. Heart-touching incidents of Ramayana. Rama will go and meet Lakshmana's mother. Lakshmana's mother will embrace him, cry, and she will say that this is very unfair what has happened, but I'm stopping myself from saying anything bad about Kaikeyi or Manthara or anybody, because I know that you will not like that. You will not like to hear that. You will not like to hear that. So I'm just locking my mouth forcefully and stopping myself from saying anything about Kaikeyi in your presence. Lord Rama will look at her and say, yes. Lord Rama will sternly look at her, and then Kaikeyi, Lakshmana's mother will say, all right, I will not say anything against her in your presence or in your absence also. I will not say anything against her. And then she will say something truly heart-wrenching lines she will say. She will say, I wish I could come with you and serve you. But I'm a lady and I can't come. And my heart tells me that probably I'm more required here than in the forest. Because in my heart, I'm only thinking about how heartbroken Kausalya is. I want to just stay here and be a support for her. What she's going through at the thought of having to lose you for 14 years. So I think my presence would be more meaningful here than in the forest. And then she will say, will you kindly accept my son as your servant, as on my behalf also? When you look at him, remember that he's serving you on my behalf also. I can't come. Will you kindly accept my son? At least accept my son when you go to the forest. So you can see what is... So Ramayana is not just, the surface of it, it is one type of a text, but when you dive deeper into it, every phrase, every page, every incident has something like this. And Lord Rama will say that, my dear mother, I would not like to take either you nor Lakshmana with me. But I will take this as an order from you. Though I would not like to take Lakshmana with me, I will take this as an order, as a command from you. And I'll take Lakshmana with me, with your kind permission and blessing. And then what about Lakshmana's wife, Urmila? Lakshmana will go to inform her. Lakshmana will go to inform her that, my dear wife, my dear beautiful wife, I'll be gone for 14 years. Actually, Urmila knows about it, even a little before Lakshmana comes and tells. And in Valmiki Ramayana, it's explained that, oh no, Urmila doesn't know yet. Urmila is a very good painter. Urmila is making a painting. She's making a painting of Lord Rama and Sita's Pattabhishek, the enthronement of Lord Rama and Sita. Rama and Sita sitting on a throne. I mean, the coronation ceremony, which was about to happen. The Pattabhisheka ceremony. She's making that painting. And she's completely absorbed in making that painting. She doesn't observe that Lakshmana has already stepped in. And from a distance, Lakshmana is looking at her and looking at the picture. And that's the picture of Lord Rama's coronation ceremony. And he sees that Urmila is completely absorbed in making that painting. And Lakshmana makes some sound or something from behind. And Urmila recognizes the presence of her husband Lakshmana behind her. And she turns around in a bit of a hurry. And there's a basket, there's a bucket of paint or something. She trips over it and falls down. And when she falls down, the painting also comes down. And the painting gets splashed with the paint. In other words, the painting gets destroyed. And Urmila is aghast. She's shocked. She'll start crying. She'll say, "This is inauspicious. I was about to make this painting. It's almost ready. It's almost ready. It's just about ready. I could release it tomorrow." Something like that. It's almost ready. And the whole paint spills all over that painting. And it's gone. Urmila she's terror-struck, saying, "Why did this happen? It's inauspicious." She's crying and she's thinking, what can I do? She's trying to wipe off the paint and all that. And Lakshmana will pull her hand out and say, "No, don't do it." And then Lakshmana explains what happened. And it is said that during that conversation that Urmila has with Lakshmana, Urmila also blesses Lakshmana and says that, what is there here? Our real life is with Lord Rama. And Urmila will say, "I would like to say I also want to come. But the only reason why I'm refusing to say that, I know if I insist, maybe you will take me also. But I don't want to come for the simple reason that if I were to come, you would have to divide your time between having to take care of me and having to take care of Lord Rama. And I don't want that to happen. May you be free from any anxiety, any distraction, any diversion, any whatever diversion. May you be completely focused on serving this personality called Lord Rama and his good wife Sita. I don't want to come because if I were to come, you would have to spend some time taking care of me. I will stay here. 14 years without you is not going to be easy. But the only way I can pacify my heart, my raging heart, out of separation from you, is the thought that you're out there in the forest and you're serving Lord Ram. Just that thought is what will pacify my heart. That you're the protector. I mean, not that Lakshmana is the protector, but you're the umbrella when the Lord needs it. You're the shoe when the Lord needs. You pick fruits for him. You get water for him. You build cottages for him. You clear the path for him. I'll just keep closing my eyes and imagining you doing all these services, and you'll serve him day and night. You'll serve him day and night. You'll serve him in the day, taking care of their needs, and you'll stay awake in the night, protecting them. Protecting them. So I close my eyes and just imagine you doing all these services, and that is what will keep me, stop me from becoming insane or mad with separation from you and from Lord Rama. And just this thought that you're serving this great personality, Lord Rama. So I wholeheartedly, you please go and serve. And then she remembers and says, Did I say something that you should serve Lord Rama day and night? Lakshmana says, yeah, day and night. Lakshmana says, how can I do it? Day and night, 14 years. Then Urmila makes that offer. Urmila tells Lakshmana, Nidra Devi is there. I have to respect Nidra Devi. I have to, I have my quota of sleep that I have to go through. Very nice to hear this statement, right? I have to sleep every day. So Nidra Devi is there and she wants, how can I ignore her? How can I insult her? So there is a particular quota that is allotted to everybody, morning, daytime and night, we have to sleep. We have to respect Nidra Devi. That is when Urmila makes that amazing offer. She says, daytime anyway, you don't sleep. Your share of sleep that you are to do, that night sleep that you have to do, you hand over to me. I'll sleep on your behalf. So Urmila would sleep her normal quota of sleep in the night. And in the daytime, she'll sleep Lakshmana's quota of sleep. So practically for 14 years, she was sleeping. So that 14 years, Lakshmana could stay awake without blinking once. Not even blinking once. So Ramayana is a story of loving sacrifices that everybody makes for Lord Rama. And Ramayana is also the story of loving sacrifices that Lord Rama makes for his devotees. Loving sacrifices that Lord Rama makes for his devotees. Ramayana is a book of loving exchanges between devotees and Lord Rama. And how gloriously Lord Rama reciprocated with Lakshmana. At one time in the forest, after Bharata comes and goes, and after Rama and Lakshmana realize that Dasharatha died and all that is over. One afternoon, Rama is sitting with Sita and then he's seeing how Lakshmana is cleaning the cottage and bringing fruits and taking care of both of them and, fanning them, or Sita and Ram. Lord Rama looks at Lakshmana and says, when I was young, my father used to take care of me like this, Dasharatha. It didn't occur to my father, Dasharatha, that I'm his son and I have to serve him. As long as Dasharatha was there, he would serve me. He would take care of me. He was so fond of me. He would take care of me with so much affection, so much love, so much personal care. He wouldn't outsource this to somebody. He would do it personally. All the time, he would come and do it personally, himself. And I was thinking maybe when I go to the forest, I'll miss that touch in my life. But now I realize that you've taken over the role of my father in this forest. You're doing exactly what my father used to do to me. Taking care of me, my personal needs. Before I get up, whatever I need for me to go to the river and take a bath, everything you're arranging. My lunch is ready, my breakfast is ready. You protect me. You give me soft kusha grass on which I lie down. And you're up the whole night protecting me, taking care. You build the cottages for me. And Rama mentions also something very nice he mentions about Hanuman. Very, very glorious statement he makes about Hanuman. I like that statement, especially that particular incident is very fascinating for all aspiring devotees, like all of us. I'm also an aspiring devotee. Lord Rama says that, is it okay? You're getting it? Am I too fast or is it too complicated? Or any comments, or is it okay what you're hearing? Okay, so Lord Rama says that one time the Lord Rama makes a comment about Lakshmana. He says that when they shift from one location to another, Lakshmana would go to Lord Rama and Sita and ask them, so do you think this is a nice place for me to build a cottage for you? A hut or a cottage? And they would select some place. Lakshmana would show them 2-3 options and they would select, and then Lakshmana would ask Lord Rama, can you tell me what you want? You stayed in that old cottage for so many years. Now we have moved here. Would you like some changes? What should be the design? How would you want me to build it? Then it said that Rama would tell him, do something like this, something like that. And sometimes it is said that you have to permit me to take this call. Ha, Mataji, I'll take the call today. I will take. Sorry, I have another class later. So, what was I saying? Yes, sometimes Lord Rama would answer that question a little vaguely. Vaguely means incomplete information. And based on that, Lakshmana would construct. Then after that, he would bring Ram and Sita and say, please take a look. Is it okay? Otherwise, I'll redo it. Don't worry. I'm ready to redo it. Lord Rama would go around, and then one time he calls Lakshmana and says, I deliberately gave you incomplete instruction, but you seem to have read my mind perfectly. You've done something that was in my mind, but I didn't choose to reveal completely. You did exactly what I wanted, though I didn't reveal to you. Lakshmana says, simply your blessing. I don't deserve and I can't take any credit for anything that's happening. It's simply your blessing upon me that I'm able to understand what you want. And then Lakshmana says that I'm just an instrument in your hand. You're engaging me in whatever way you like. I would like to continue to be an unconditional instrument in your hand. And let me always continue to serve you and please you in this manner. Lord Rama will say, I'm very pleased. I didn't even tell you exactly, but it was there in my mind. I didn't tell you though. But you seem to have built exactly what I wanted. And it is said that Lord Rama became very grateful to Lakshmana. He says, why did you have to come with me? You didn't have to come at all. There was no need for you to come. You could have stayed back. The curse was on me. I was supposed to go, but you came. And then he says something very nice, very sweet to Lakshmana. He says, I lost my father, but you seem to have replaced him. You have become like my father to me. I don't miss my father so much anymore because you're there to take care of me. In every way, in all aspects, you're taking care of me. But you know what? You got a double loss to deal with. You lost your father, nobody replaced you. Nobody replaced your father in the sense that you replaced my father's role in my life. Nobody replaced. And now you lost the kingdom. I mean, you were a prince. You're now living with me in the forest, which you didn't have to do. So you have two losses. Whereas I had one, but you have compensated it. So Lord Rama says that this is very interesting in the sense that it just goes to show that the Lord observes. Sometimes I always say this, devotees have this doubt. I'm doing so much, it's so hot. I still go out and sing kirtan. I preach, I distribute books, I do this, I do that. I walked down to the temple. I could have gone to a movie. I could have watched IPL today, but I came to the temple. Does the Lord know or does He care? Does the Lord even care? The answer is He knows and He cares. Just as He observed Lakshmana serving Him, you think the Lord will not notice whatever you have done for Him? This is the nature of Lord Rama, to keep observing what the devotees are doing and appreciate them. So Lord Rama acknowledges and appreciates the role that Lakshmana is playing in his life while they're out there in the forest. Lakshmana becomes overwhelmed with joy. He says that Actually, just the fact that you are accepting me, you accepted me, you brought me to the forest, you're giving me a chance, is itself a great boon to me. Now, on top of it, you're recognizing me and you're appreciating my service. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Lakshmana is saying this, and then actually in a very strange way, it increases the bond or the desire of Lakshmana to serve Lord Rama more and more intensely, more and more unconditionally. So this is the greatness of the personality called Rama. His greatest character. And Rama had so much faith in his devotees, so much faith about the purity of his devotees. At one time when Lakshmana becomes very anxious when he sees that Bharata is coming along with a huge army marching into the forest. So Lakshmana is afraid because out of his loving concern for Lord Rama, he is afraid. He thinks that maybe Bharata is coming because maybe Kaikeyi has ordered that, but if we go to the forest, Lord Rama is powerless, alone, kill him, finish him, so that we don't have to return the kingdom to him, something like that. Lakshmana is fearful because of his excessive feeling of protective feeling towards Lord Rama. So he comes down to Lord Rama and he watches from the top of a tree, comes down and says, you please go into the cottage, hermitage, stay there. I will deal with this Bharata. I'll teach him a good lesson. What business does he have here to come with his army? I think he's coming here because he's afraid that after 14 years he will come back and reclaim the kingdom. Lord Rama becomes very angry at that statement. He says, my dear Lakshmana, I don't approve of this statement. I think Bharata loves me as much as you do. As much as you do. And I love him too, as much as I love you. I don't have the slightest doubt on Bharata. I don't think he's coming here to do what you are concluding. You're concluding without any basis. This is not good for you, not good for a prince. This is not good for anybody like you to conclude in such a hasty manner about somebody, and especially make judgments of this nature. This is a general warning for all of us, not to conclude about anybody in a hasty manner. So Rama will say this, and then when Bharata comes and when he is informed that Rama is living in that cottage, in that hermitage, Bharata drops everything that he was having and starts running towards that cottage. And it said that he had a mixture of emotions in his heart. One is he was feeling totally guilty because he feels that it is his mother who is the cause of all this suffering for Lord Rama. So he's feeling very guilty. He's hesitant. He does not know how to face Lord Rama. From the other side, he has this deep desire to apologize to Lord Rama, correct the situation, make amends, apologize, and whatever, to remedy the situation, correct the situation. So that desire also he has. Then he's ashamed that at some point of time people started doubting Bharata. Not everybody, a few started doubting, saying, does Bharata have a hand behind all this? So he's afraid. He's thinking, I hope the Lord of my life, Lord Rama, doesn't think like that about me. So he's anxious to know what is Lord Rama thinking about him. What is Lord Rama thinking? So he's torn between so many emotions, Bharata. And so one is relief that he found Rama. Second is his crying to see Lord Rama, who is the Lord of the whole universe, live in one small hut, hermitage, and without his royal paraphernalia and other things around him. So Bharata is running, and because he's shedding tears, he's not able to see where he's running, and he keeps falling. Every few steps, he's trying to run and he falls because out of tears that are overflowing from his eyes. And from a distance, Lord Rama is watching. As Bharata is stumbling and staggering along and falling, and raising himself up and running again. And then from a distance, Bharata just falls flat on the ground from a distance, offers his Dandavat Pranam to Lord Rama, and he's trying to say something, but Valmiki Ramayana explains that no words, no comprehensible words came out of his mouth. He was just murmuring something. Then Lord Rama walks up to him, lifts him up, wipes the tears of his eyes, consoles him, embraces him, sits down, puts Bharata's head on his lap, and he's patting Bharata. Like as if Bharata is like a small child. Lord Rama is patting Bharata and consoling him. It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. You're with me now. You're with me now. Rama is consoling Bharata. This is another one of those real high points of Ramayana. How Lord Rama receives Bharata. And everybody is watching from a distance, is frozen in time, just watching this loving exchange intensely loving exchange between Bharata and Rama. Now you can imagine what's happening in Lakshmana's heart when he's watching all this. Lord Rama will chastise him later on and say that, don't suspect my dearest Bharata. He loves me as much as you do. But Lakshmana becomes a little ashamed at making such hasty judgment. He bows his head down in shame. It takes a long while before Bharata is able to compose himself. And it is said in Valmiki Ramayana that seeing Bharata's completely shaken up condition, it is said that Lord Rama also shed tears of, what is the right word? Tears of relief or something. And he is actually surprised at Bharata's intense feeling. Rama is consoling him. It's all right. Relax. No, you're with me. And Bharata is just still gets up once in a while, tries to talk something, breaks down and cries again. And all are watching this. And finally, Bharata is able to regain some of his composure because of the assurance that he gets from Lord Rama. And then he gets up, stands at a distance, offers his prayers to Lord Rama. And he says that, I've come here for two purposes. First purpose is to inform you that our dear father is no more. Second purpose is to return the kingdom back to you. Is to return the kingdom back to you. Like that. So then Lord Rama reacts to that statement, and he's also feeling very heartbroken at hearing that Dasharatha passed away. Because actually Dasharatha's elephant will come as a part of the procession, but Dasharatha won't be on that elephant. It will come empty. Rama notices that. And he makes anxious inquiries, where is my father? So then there's this conversation between Bharata and Lord Rama about who should take care of the kingdom. So Bharata then, he says that I'm incapable, I cannot take care. I'm torn by guilt. This is not my position to take care of the kingdom. I'm doing it because I've been ordered to do so by Vashishta. But left to myself, I don't want to do that. This is your kingdom. This is your throne. This is you. All my life, I was only waiting to see the day when you would come and sit on the throne and be the ruler of Ayodhya. And I'm aware of how much the residents of Ayodhya were in love with you. Me too. I was also no different. I was waiting like all the residents of Ayodhya to see you on this throne. So I'm returning this throne to you. I cannot, this is a torture for me, because what was rightly belonging to you has been snatched from you by my wicked, cruel mother, and then has been given to me by a mistaken notion that would make me happy. So I curse my mother, I disown my mother, all that he will say. Then Lord Rama will pacify him and say, no, don't speak like that. Whatever has happened by destiny, by prearranged destiny, preordained, by the effect of Kala. You are but just a small actor in that whole drama. It is not you. I never felt you were in any way responsible for this. It's a hand of destiny, like that. So like that we can go on and on and on about Ramayana. Every portion of Ramayana has something like this, some heart-touching pastime like this, where Lord Rama's amazing qualities come to the forefront. And finally, when Bharata goes back, Bharata comes prepared, of course. That's also there in the Valmiki Ramayana. It's very interesting to know that. Bharata knew that Rama won't come. But nevertheless, out of his affection, he genuinely tried. So Bharata then finally because he has brought the footwear, the paduka. He offers the paduka to Lord Rama and says, at least you can consecrate this by placing your lotus feet on this paduka. I will carry this on my head and I will rule this kingdom on your behalf, on behalf of your paduka. Let everybody know that this Bharata is not servant of Lord Rama, he is a servant of the paduka of Lord Rama. He is a servant of the padukas of Lord Rama. And I'm ruling this. No, he doesn't say I'm ruling. I'm being engaged by the paduka of Lord Rama to take care of this kingdom. I'm a mere servant of the padukas of Lord Rama. And then he makes a vow that I will live exactly like how you're living. For next 14 years, I will live like a mendicant. Wear the same type of dress. Rama used to wear dress made out of tree bark, the outer layer of the tree stem. So bark, I will wear the same thing. I will eat what you are eating, the same thing. Fruits, nuts, berries and roots and whatever. And I will live exactly like you, sleep under a tree or in a cottage. So to this day, that place is there. It's called Nandigram, on the outskirts of Ayodhya. It's also called Bharat Guha. There's a little cave in which he used to stay. You can still see that place. It's just outside Ayodhya, 30 kilometers or something. Bharata lived like that for the next 14 years. So, Ramayana is a story of impeccable characters, very perfect, blemishless characters who kind of competed with each other to show how much love they had for one another. Bharata for Lord Rama for Bharata, Lakshmana for Rama and Lama for Bharata, Lakshmana, like that. So it's a very, very sweet literature. Very, very, very sweet literature. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That was a wonderful class by you, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a doubt like Janaka Maharaj found Sita Devi under earth in a box. I had doubt like why did not Mother Sita came through some Mataji's womb?
That's not explained clearly in Ramayana, why she chose to appear like that. Only thing that is said is Janaka was childless. King Janaka was childless. But what's also explained is Sita Devi's, one of Sita Devi's kind of previous life, when she was known by the name, I think she picked up that name Vaidehi or something in one of her previous life. She was a great yogi. And Ravana tries to violate her. And she makes a vow saying that I'll be born again and I'll be the reason, I'll be the cause for your destruction. So, but the fact is, the Lord and his incarnations and his consorts are not born in the same manner in which we are born, technically speaking, through the womb of some mother. That's not how they are born. They just reside there for some time in the womb of somebody and then appear at the right time. So other than that, there is no, I can't remember any historic reason as enunciated in the Ramayana why Sita Devi chose to appear like that. I just cannot remember. It's just accepted that Sita Devi appeared when in the field, in a box. And there's a meaning, I forget the correct meaning also. So she appeared like that, and Janaka adopts her as his own daughter. If I find something, I'll share with you sometime. But right now, I can't remember having read anything why Sita appeared like that. No, I can't remember.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for discussing such wonderful, glorious qualities of Lord Ram as well as the devotees. Prabhuji, when we hear pastimes of the Lord, we get very inspired and we get a lot of devotion towards Lord Ram. But at the same time, the propaganda goes out in the outside society that there are some who say that Ravana was a gentleman, whereas Lord Ram, Ravana, although he kidnapped Mother Sita, he never touched her. But at the same time, Lord Ram, who seemed to be so devoted husband, but had to put ultimately Mother Sita for Agni Pariksha. So there's a steep contrast between these two characters. So that becomes a. So could you push it?
There is no truth in this statement that Ravana did not, I mean, he kidnapped Sita, so he actually picked her up. But yes, he could not proceed beyond that because he was under the influence of a curse given by Ramba's husband. Was it Nalakuvara or Manigriva? One of the two. That if you try to violate somebody against her will, you will die. That was the only thing, that was the only reason why Ravana was hesitating and restraining himself. But there is no doubt that he tried every possible way of seducing or whatever, convincing Sita Mata to yield to him, to the extent that she was threatened and she was intimidated. In every possible way, he tried. But Sita Mata was very firm. That's another matter. She didn't yield to him. So, the very purpose of kidnapping Sita was because he developed lusty attraction for her. As soon as Shurpanaka started describing the beauty of Sita, he became very attracted. And actually, Shurpanaka instigates him, saying, she is rightfully belongs to you and not to some small-time prince who's walking around without a shelter, who's been driven away from his kingdom and walking around in the forest without any shelter or army. So that's when Ravana becomes tempted by lust. So it's not that Ravana was some saint or something. Definitely not. Ravana was no saint. He was a demon a demon of the highest order. Ravana's demoniac qualities are there all over the Ramayana. I mean, when you read towards the end of Sundara Kanda, Yuddha Kanda, even before that, Ravana would go around stealing women, beautiful women, princesses, property, jewels, and everything that was valuable from any part of the universe. He didn't spare his own brother Kubera. He didn't spare his own brother. He told Kubera that, you know what, I think this Pushpaka Viman better belong to me. I can put it to better use than you. What do you think? Kubera says, all right, take it. You can take it. I have no objection. Whatever. So Ravana was a demon, ruthless demon. It is said that the rules of civilized warfare was that you don't kill a messenger. Ravana does that also. When Kubera sends a messenger to pacify Ravana and also to warn him, Ravana doesn't like what he says and he kills him. That's it. Vibhishana is trying to say this is not good, this is not correct. It's not the dharma of a kshatriya, or it's not the dharma of an asura also to kill a messenger. No, you're even more degraded than asuras. Even an asura would not do that. You can punish, but you can't kill. But Ravana says, who are you to teach me dharma? Is there anybody in this world who has the courage to talk to me about dharma? Let me see. I'm going to kill him. Let me see who will come in. He was an asura of the highest order. Ruthless asura. So it is wrong to say that Ravana was it is a fact that Lanka was very prosperous. There's no doubt about it. But it's like, the Britishers also were very prosperous for a long time. All of us know it because they looted India. They looted India. In the same way, Lanka was prosperous because Ravana would just pick up whatever he liked from any part of the universe. Any part, bring it and keep it in Lanka. So it was all ill-gotten wealth. In English, in nowadays they say disproportionate to known sources of income. So if there's something called the ED, Enforcement Directorate, they would go raid Ravana and find stolen property from any part of the world. It's lying with Ravana. And as for people who said different things about Lord Rama, I can only say, why don't you read the Ramayana carefully? Properly, carefully, respectfully. Then you will be convinced that Rama is a great, saintly person. That. Good question. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for giving wonderful class about reflection from Ramayana. I have a small question, Prabhuji. Tomorrow is Ramanavami, Prabhuji. So I have a small confusion. Is tomorrow's birthday of Ram or a marriage day of Lord Rama and Sita?
Birthday, appearance day. The Lord appeared on Ramanavami.
So people celebrate the marriage day. That's why I confused. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Appearance day. Just as Krishna Ashtami is the appearance day of Krishna, Ramanavami is the appearance day of Lord Rama.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So in Ramayana there are so many characters that we can inspire, from the Chatayu to the small squirrel. So but in between there is one more character who is known as Vali.
What?
Vali and his son Angada. So from these two characters, what we can learn from the Ramayana, Prabhu? Would you please tell from your point of view? So what we can practically apply in day-to-day life?
See, as soon as Lord Rama kills Vali, he makes Angada the crown prince. He makes Sugriva the king, but he makes Angada the crown prince. In other words, after Sugriva's time, it would be Vali's son Angada who would become the king. The Lord says that I had to inflict this punishment on you, Vali, because you have done something which is unpardonable. You have kidnapped and forcibly confined somebody else's wife without her permission. This is an unpardonable sin. That's the only reason why I have to punish you. This cannot be pardoned. Forcibly snatching someone else's wife and keeping her for your own sexual enjoyment is an unpardonable sin. And hence you need to be punished. Yes, there is a conversation between Lord Rama and Vali. Vali will question Lord Rama. Rama will patiently answer every one of Vali's questions. Then Vali's wife also will come there, Tara. She will also very respectfully question Lord Rama. Rama will answer her also. And finally Vali will say, I think what you're saying is right. I deserve this punishment. And I'm in one sense, in one way, I'm relieved that I'm being punished with your hands and not by anybody else. So being punished by your hands is the same as being rewarded by you. So I'm very relieved that you removed this blemish, this sin from me, and I'm very sure that I will have a better destination. Your punishment is non-different from your blessing. So Vali accepts that, all right, I shouldn't have done that. Somehow I made that grave mistake, very grave mistake, sin, like that. Not that Rama killed Vali because he made a friendship pact with Sugriva. No, he killed Vali because Vali deserved that punishment. For a king to do that was very terribly wrong. Hence Lord Rama punished Vali. Okay. It's a lengthy conversation, but it's very fascinating. The conversation between Vali and Lord Rama and that of Tara and Lord Rama. Many so-called scholars have commented upon it, but Valmiki Ramayana very clearly establishes in the end that Vali accepts the punishment, gracefully accepts the punishment in the end. Okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Any more questions? If anybody has. Okay, we have a question. We'll take a small question from small.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Today's class was interesting.
Tell me.
Prabhuji, I had a doubt that Ravana was born in a family with Brahmana father and demoniac mother. Prabhuji.
Correct.
Then he should be not equal, no, Prabhuji. Then why did he become demoniac, Prabhuji?
Can you explain what is his question? Yeah, he was born from
He is born as a from Brahmana father and demonic mother. So he should have equal qualities as Brahmana and demon. But he's showing more demonic quality. Why is it so?
You see, yes, Ravana was born from Kaikasi and Vishrava. Kaikasi is a demoness and Vishrava is a Brahmana. But from his mother, he inherited qualities like lust, greed, anger, envy, jealousy. So whatever good qualities he may have inherited from his father's side, these qualities, lust, anger, greed, envy towards the Lord, these qualities are so powerful that they wipe out the good. You understand? Especially envy, lust, greed, etc. They wipe out the good. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, these are the 3 gateways to hell: lust, greed, anger. On top of it, you add envy. So it makes a very dangerous combination. So, because Ravana inherited these qualities from his demoniac mother, though there may have been some good qualities, they could not. His overall personality was one of a person who was lusty, was greedy, was this, was that, was jealous, was this, like that. Intolerably angry and lusty and greedy. So, because of that, even whatever little good he had was overpowered. So, which is why Krishna says these are real enemies, these 3 qualities. And then it is also said in Ramayana that he was repeatedly being instructed in the wrong way by his mother. In the wrong way by his mother. Because Vishrava had other wives. Kubera was the son of Vishrava. So Kubera was step brother of Ravana. And Ravana's mother would always instruct him in a very devious way. Okay? So one should stay away from these kind of qualities. One should stay away from people like that, demoniac people. Because if you stay with them, then that infection is so powerful that it will change your whole character. Okay? Good question. I can take one more question. I have a class at 8:15. Somebody there? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. How did Vibhishana staying among the demons did not have so much effect? No? I mean, he's dharma and he does also bhakti, no? Prabhu?
Yeah, correct.
So how does he does not have effect by staying among the demons?
Well, sometimes such things happen. The same thing happened with Vidura. He was member of the Kuru dynasty. He was living with Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, but he was a very divine personality. Sometimes these things happen. It just goes to show a devotee can be born anywhere. Prahlad was born to a very demoniac father. That is the will of the Lord. A devotee can be born anywhere. The good devotee can appear in any family, anywhere. Yes, Vibhishana was unaffected. Vibhishana was a gentleman. Vibhishana was a very unique, exemplary personality. Very unlike his 2 brothers, Kumbhakarna and Ravana. Very, very unlike. Vibhishana was a gentleman, was a devotee right from his birth, more or less from his birth. Which is why he was very uncomfortable, just as Vidura was very uncomfortable. So these mysterious things happen by the will of the Lord. I can't remember if Vidura had a different mother, but to the best of my knowledge, no. I think he was also born from Kaikasi. Vishrava and Kaikasi. Just the arrangement of the Lord. Both things happen. Sometimes a demon is born in a family of devotees. The other way also tends to happen sometimes. Both things happen. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, as I was telling earlier, the wisdom Prabhuji was going to share was so much important for all of us, and we are so grateful to him. Yesterday night, midnight, he had flown from Bangalore to Hyderabad just for this class. and again tomorrow morning he's flying back. So much important time he has given, and we can offer or repay him. Not, it's very difficult to repay, but we can try to repay just by remembering what he shared and trying to apply the principles which he shared from Ramayana. It's very rare to hear such principles. Outside you go, they'll speak so many things about Ramayana. But when it comes to application, they'll come at the last. But here, Prabhuji is applying at the same time, sharing also. So we'd like to thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! I'd like to thank all the participants present here.
On this auspicious occasion, I would like to offer a prayer at the lotus feet of Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, that all of you be blessed abundantly by their lordships, become wonderful devotees, develop divine qualities, become very devoted to your Guru and the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, develop a taste for chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and become wonderful gentlemen, devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, we had many participants who came first time. So those who came first time for the program, can you stand up? You can stand at your place. Anyone who came first time for the program, can stand up? Yes. So we'd like to welcome all of you for this Saturday programs. We request all of you that please continue and please be part of this forum. Okay. So we'd like to welcome specially for all of them by once chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you. Please be seated. So we are going ahead with Kirtan, quick Kirtan and Prasadam. So before that, we have some announcements. Next week, we will not be having this program because many of the participants, they are going for a trip to Srirangam and Kanchipuram, those who are regularly coming previously. So all of them are going for a trip. But we will meet on 23rd. Today is 9th, exactly after 2 weeks, 23rd of April, Saturday at 6:30. Okay. Another announcement was that we are going to have a spiritual retreat. This is a one-day event. This retreat is basically taking out time for yourself from your life. We are running very fast, giving exams, studying, going to company, submitting projects. But when we'll take out time for ourselves? So this retreat is for us, and we are going to host you in ISKCON temple. So this retreat starts Saturday, 23rd of April, 6 p.m. and it completes by 6 p.m. next day, Sunday. So I hope none of you have such ruthless colleges and companies who don't give holiday on Sunday. And so what we are going to have, we are going to have meditation in the morning. When you get up Sunday morning, we'll have meditation, we will have Mangalarti in the temple. It's an amazing experience. All the lights off, not only of the temple, but whole city. Nobody to disturb you, and only Lord is there, and you can have nice Kirtan and Darshan of the Lord. Saturday evening, we have IYS meeting. Nicely stay here in the temple. We have a very nice accommodation facility here. You can get up next day morning, participate in the meditation, and whole day we will have so many activities. We'll have special discussions, we'll have special kirtans, special videos, dramas, and you will not come to know how your Sunday went. And So this is specially for those who have recently joined, or you have not been staying in the temple or not connected, or anyone of you feel you can join, and the charges are lesser than a movie ticket. It's been 15 years I didn't go to a movie, but all of you will knowing. But charges are only 100 rupees. I hope so. Movie costs more than that. And 3 hours movie, only 30 seconds lesson. 30 seconds lesson. But this whole retreat will be very useful for you. At every moment you will feel that this should not end. Okay? So thank you very much. So we'll go ahead for Kirtan. All of you can help us folding these mats. Okay, I have one more announcement. Sorry. Small announcement. Today's